Hi, welcome to the latest installment of Grow Your Business in South Florida. My name is Kenneth Wright, and I am on the board of directors of the South Dade Chamber of Commerce. And of course, I am the health insurance savant. Today, I have with us Tania Gamez, who is the branch manager of Gold Financial Services, which is a mortgage brokerage.
Direct lender, mortgage
Direct lender. So let's start off with that. I don't
Yeah.
know the difference between direct lending and mortgages or anything. So let's start off with saying, what is a direct lender?
Well, so a broker kind of shops around, right? They shop around, and they don't have their own funding, so to speak, right? So they're going to different types and seeing who has the best rates and all that kind of stuff. We're a direct lender, so we have our in-house processing, in-house underwriting, and we do the funding, all in-house. So there's no. We close a lot faster because we're able to basically do everything. We're jack of all trades.
Okay, so that's important. So you're able to close faster, which is what people want. People want to be able to get their money ASAP, right? That's an important thing.
Yeah. So we don't have to wait on, as a direct lender, I'm the branch manager. I basically have my in-house processor, underwriter, and as soon as they're done, it just goes, it just funds right there. So we have all the funding in-house. I don't have to go search for who's going to take this loan. That's the biggest thing. Who's going to take this loan, right? And who's going to, do what with it? I'm controlling everything. I like to control everything.
We'll talk about that later. But let's back up a bit. So one of the reasons people say they like going to brokers is because the brokers will shop for the best rate, right? Now, tell me about why that is a fallacy.
That's something that you hear a lot, right? It's kind of talked about and it's kind of taught is one of the things, right? So one of the things, I never talk bad about not one different entity, right? Because they're all great.
Yeah.
And it's just who you are as a client, what it is that you're needing as a service, okay? If you're going to a broker, you might get the best service from them, you as a client, because that's how your situation pans out, right? Not everybody's situation can just go to one direct thing. Like a bank can deny one person, right? You'll hear it all the time. The bank denied me, and all of a sudden they come to me, and I approve them and I close them, right? So it's just in particular of how your situation is. Now, about going to the interest rates, okay? This broker, right? If I become a broker tomorrow, right? Because we could change roles. If I become a broker tomorrow, I am shopping around for this client and going and seeing basically who's going to give them the best rate. It is based half the time on the broker's commission, so they can play around with their commission, so to speak, right? And then at the end of the day, you're kind of passing it on to a sales thing. Like, okay, you take this, handle it, and then that's it. So they're more of a facilitator, so to speak, right? We have our normal interest rates. We have our in-house processing, underwriting, and all that kind of stuff. Why is that important? I'll tell you why. Yesterday, I closed, and I posted this all over my Instagram, right? I closed.
What is your Instagram?
Oh, Tania Gamez Mortgage.
Okay, all right.
Very simple, Tania Gamez Mortgage, okay. Right? So
look that up.
Yes, follow me. I closed on a family, right, that happened to go to another lender. I don't know if they were a broker or not, or a direct lender. I didn't look them up. But this is where this type of thing comes up, right? Or who do you go for? Are you interested on just, the interest rate? Are you just interested in, in terms, one of the biggest things is they went 60 days with this other lender. 60 days. They never went into underwriting. What does that mean? Underwriting means when the underwriter is going to look at it, I put everything together, I'm going to send it into underwriting. Underwriting is going to look at it and say, okay, this loan is good. Maybe I just need these couple of other conditions, right? A letter of explanation, a bank statement, whatever comes out, and then you put it back in, and then they clear or close, right? That's the normal process. This lender, right, this mortgage professional could not figure out in 60 days how to put this into the underwriting. So 60 days in this market is insane. I don't know how they even got away with that. I say that, I kept saying that the whole time. I go, I don't know how they got away with 60 days, right? Because right now, if you're not closing within 30 days, things are going back up on the market. And we're going to talk about the market, right? So how did they get away with that without even putting it on underwriting? The realtor came to me, spoke, I looked it over and I said, absolutely, I could get this done, right? They couldn't figure out how to get it done and how to submit the file. So they just sat there every day thinking maybe a miracle is going to happen and something's going to come in their brain and they'll figure it out. With that time delay, now people are frustrated. When I already received them, they're frustrated, on
sure.
all ends, the buyer, the listing agent, the seller, the buyer's agent, everybody's just frustrated because they want to close this. The listing agent and the seller want to put it back on the market, whatever. My processor is always the same processor. My underwriters are the same underwriters in-house, and we work together, and we got this client done. That was the important thing of everybody as a team knows each other, and we say, can we get this done? Let's look at this. What strategies do we need to do? What way can we get this to closing, right? Because we want to make sure that it's 100% perfect in order to get it done. I'm not going to ever take on a deal unless I know it's going to close, right? It's not like, let's just throw spaghetti at the wall, so to speak, right? We're going to look at this. Yep, we could get this done. And then I promise that, and then we deliver. But yesterday, I did. Had they gone to somebody else just because they were looking for a quarter of an interest rate difference, right? That so to speak of service. So Are you looking for just a quarter difference on an interest rate, which is really not going to make a difference, right? It's $20 maybe off your mortgage, or service.
Getting it done. Getting it done. So let's back up. Let's talk about this case. What you were talking about was 60 days on the market. Everyone is talking now about what's going on with interest rates. Now it's impacted the housing market. So let's start off with saying what's going on with interest rates and how is it impacting the market?
Okay. So the market, there's low inventory.
There is no, even now, there's no inventory.
Even now.
Now you're talking about where is there no inventory?
That's everywhere. Like all of South Florida is the
main. And when we say South Florida,
thing.
You mean from where
Homestead to Miami, even Broward, it's very difficult to find. And especially in the price ranges, okay? In a price range that you're looking at in the 300s to 400s, you're looking at a lot of times townhomes, which way back when, before COVID hit, they were in the 100 ranges, right? So now we're looking at townhomes in the 300 range in South Florida that it's hardly any at that price.
Right.
Okay. So you're getting a middle-class family to go ahead and looking at townhomes, and you're having this huge population looking for the same amount, going after the same inventory. It's flying off the market. It's flying.
Even at the interest rates that are going, because that's one thing I've heard is interest rates have impacted it.
We talk about interest rates so much. The news talks about it. We talk about it. We're conditioned to talk about it. Right. And especially because we sat at home from 2020 and 2021, and that's all the media talked about. That's all everybody talked about on social media, right? Not everyone, just a lot of people that would talk about it, because you don't hear mortgage professionals talk about interest rates. If you notice that, you do not hear mortgage professionals talk about interest rates, right?
What do you guys talk about?
We'll talk about the loan products, because interest rates have to do with this. Interest rates are components of your credit score, your credit profile, the type of property, your down payment, and your loan program, right? So between me and you, right now, we went to purchase a property, we'll have different interest rates, right?
I'll get much better interest rates, I bet.
I bet you will. I bet you will. Bet you will. Bet you will.
No, anyway, so I get it. So,
but people want to compare, like, so-and-so got this interest rate, right? Well, like you said, maybe you're going to get a good interest rate because if you are over 750 credit score, perfect credit, and you're putting 20% down payment on a single family home, conventional, you're going to get a better interest rate. Me being a 620 credit score, having a couple of late payments, the 3% down payment. So I can't compare apples to oranges.
Well, it's really interesting because I work in health insurance, right?
Yeah.
And I always have people come to me and say, how come Tanya's only paying $150 a month for her policy and I have to pay $300?
But Tanya's not a non-smoker. She works out.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right,
and
right.
It's just like, well, yeah, Tanya makes a different amount of money and she's a different age and she lives in a different area and she has only one kid. I mean, it's like, you're exactly right.
It's exactly it. How much risk, right? So when they're looking at the whole profile, well, if you're putting 3% down and they're putting 20% down, but their credit score is higher, and the investors are always going to look at and say, you're a lower risk. You definitely deserve a lower, interest rate. So you can never, ever compare. But you hear that a lot. No, my neighbor got this interest rate or so. And it also depends on the day and time of the interest rate too, how the market is, right? It's kind of like buying stocks, right? Like I say, if you bought stocks last month, right, bought Tesla for $20, and all of a sudden I'm looking at it right now and Tesla stock is 150, right? It's just the day, the time, how the market is, what's going on in our, you lucked out, right? You got it you locked in at the right day and time.
Yeah.
You can't compare a lot of things, but you do want the best interest rate. You do want somebody that communicates. You do want the best service. And at the end goal for everybody is to close on their home, right? Now, you did mention about interest rates. Why are interest rates so high? That's something that we're conditioned right now to hear, right? Because we expect that 2, 3, even that 4% that we had at the COVID time, right? That's because the Feds went all the way down to 0. Of course, we had all these amazing interest rates. That's like, when you went to go finance a car, you got a lot better interest rates at that time too. But what happened with cars when all the interest rates went down? All of a sudden we have a shortage. Manufacturers, weren't sending enough cars, weren't manufacturing enough cars because of COVID, and then prices skyrocketed. It's the same thing with the housing market. We are back to normal in the 6s and 7s. Now, will it go back down? I would say 5, right? That is my prediction. Don't hold me to it. It's a prediction, right? It's a prediction because we all don't have a crystal ball. But I think 5s, and I think it will alleviate a lot of things. But a lot of people are expecting either a market crash or for interest rates to go down to 2 or 3. Like you'll say a 6% interest rate and they're like, oh my God, interest rates are so high, right? It's not high. It's normal.
Yeah. So you just made a prediction.
I made a prediction, right?
We're not going to hold you to that. But what it makes me think about is you're very confident in your talking about mortgages. So I want to talk to you. I want to get to know Tania a little bit better. So how long have you been doing this mortgage thing and how did you get to it?
I've been doing it 5 years, right? Now, why am I confident? I'm going to tell you why I'm confident. I did education for 17 years.
You did what?
Education.
What do you mean you did education?
Yes, I was a kindergarten teacher and then a school counselor right here in Homestead.
No way.
The Homestead area. Yeah. I worked at Gateway, at Air Base. I was a kindergarten teacher at Keys Gate. So I've been a local in the community doing as an educator.
So
right?
is it harder to deal with like mortgage clients or kids in class?
Depends on what situation you're in. It just depends on the situation, like I said, just depends. But I did a lot of education, so I believe in learning your craft, right? And that's kind of what I was telling you about the whole denial and all this kind of stuff, right? You have to know what you're doing. So what did I do when I changed careers? I sat down and I said, okay, let me read all these guidelines. Let me look at all these videos, right? Because I went and I did a master's for psychology, and here I only had to do like one little class and pass a state test, right? And they were like, here you go to mortgages. And I was like, wait, hold on. Hold on. This is big. This is a big finance, this is a big thing for if I'm closing your loan. You want to make sure, just like if I was your lawyer, you want to make sure it's just not a state test that I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And I did that. Like everything, I wanted to learn it very well. I went and I did it. I listened to podcasts. I listened to all these type of things. Every day, it's a learning day, right? So if you're not starting your day off with a podcast or learning something, you're not going to keep up with the times, so to speak. So I do that. I educate myself very well.
Now, you're the branch manager with Gold Financial Services. Have you always been with Gold, or what was your like?
No. I fortunately started with them, right? I was with some other companies. It went very well, but there's times
In a
in
certain,
all,
in the same with the same type of thing, a direct lender thing,
yeah,
or
direct
okay.
lender. Hmm.
All right, so that's been where you've landed and you've liked
Yeah,
it.
I like it. I like the services. Like I said, it's just who you are, because there could be somebody, that could be in a company that's a direct lender, and if they don't know their craft or whatever, they're going to get stuck the same way, right? This is just the format, the formula that I like, that I do, right? So this is what I like. This is how I'm good at it. This is how I'm able to better serve my clients.
So how do you go about finding these clients that need you?
Well, clients come from realtors, okay?
Oh,
Clients come from realtors, right? And I'm going to tell you, and something that I always talk about, right? Because why are realtors my main base? It's because, forget about housing. When you think about buying a car, right? Do you think about going to the showroom, or do you think about going straight to the salesperson? Think about going to the showroom, right? To look at the car, to test drive it, and all that kind of stuff. And once they're done,
I just lease mine. I just
But
do the
what-
Carvana thing. But the average person, yes, they want to go do all that stuff.
once they're done with that, then they're going to go into financing, and they're going to find out their interest rate and how much
It's
payment
the
they have to
worst
do
thing
because
in
they
the-
just
that
fell in
is
love with the car,
worst
right?
thing in the world.
After spending all day, and then once you get this amount, you're not like, oh my God, this is, well, so to speak. Nobody. So I'm going to tell you,
It's really true. It's
I
really
always
true.
compare it, right? Because I always hear like, well, how come clients don't go directly to us as finance, anybody, as mortgage broker, direct lender, whoever, as a mortgage professional. And I said, nobody wants a mortgage. That's not ideal. Like, they don't want to even hear about a mortgage. They have to get a mortgage, right? Just like you have to get a car payment, right? Because you fell in love with this car. But nobody wants a mortgage payment. That's like not what you're thinking about. You want to see the houses. Now, even a realtor is in their way, so to speak. Like the average buyer just wants to see houses, right? And that's how Zillow came about, because they were like, well, maybe I could go through Zillow online and go through it. Well, when they were inputting their information, that's when they found out it would go directly to a realtor. Boom. Like, oh, wow,
Anyways, yeah.
They have a realtor. The realtor gets that lead, gets the client, whether it be from whatever, because they want to see this house. And that's when the realtor is saying, well, you have to be pre-approved, because right now there is no house shopping like it used to be, because there's no inventory, right? There is no house shopping. So the moment that you go and you see these houses, you have to put a contract in quickly. We have to know that you're able to qualify. It's not like, oh, let's figure it out after that.
Right. So it's like I get this whole idea because I've seen the pre-approved thing when you
Yep.
go online, and the idea is that realtors don't even really want to show you the place
Until you're pre-approved.
until you're pre-approved, because it's a waste of everybody's time.
And especially, it's a waste of everybody's time. And because of the way, like we just spoke about, the inventory, people's debt ratios, all this kind of stuff, they'll come to me even when they're putting, they'll want to see a $800,000 property, right? But based off of their debt, based off of how much income we can use, right? Because a lot of times we can't use all of the income, right? It depends. If you're just working, let's say, off commission, or you're getting a bonus, or you're getting this kind of stuff, that's great and dandy, but has it been for 2 years? Has it been all this kind of stuff? So when they're inputting income into mortgage calculators, sometimes, right, they're putting all this income or into that application, and then we have to sort through it and say, this one we can't use, this week, all this kind of stuff. So that $800,000 house might become now a $600,000, $500,000 property, right? So you were just going to look at this Lamborghini of a house, right? And when you're going to the $500,000 property, you're like, well, I don't like this. This is not what I wanted. So it kind of helps for all parties involved to know what is it specifically that you're looking for.
Right.
And not only that, one of the things that I say too is, just because you're qualified for $800,000, let's say, I'm going to tell you the realities of how much homeowners insurance is right now, what are taxes, and what are you looking at as a mortgage payment. Because this $800,000 property, when you're looking at a mortgage payment, even though you can qualify for this, you're like, wait, I don't want to pay $5,000 a month. I don't want to pay $6,000 a month. Like, no, let's bring it down to what I feel like would be a better fit, so I have enough money to vacation, to do this, and whatever they want to do, savings.
All right, so I'm going to tell anybody who's listening to this, rather than go to a realtor, when you start thinking about buying a property, reach out to Tania. She will help you from the get-go. She will help you figure out right then what the cost is, what you can afford, what's going to make sense, so that you'll know when you go looking for a property what price range really makes sense to you, rather than just doing pie in the sky searching.
And I appreciate that, because one of the things that I want to make sure that all clients know is that, number one, when you reach out to a mortgage professional, right? Me, it's a free consultation, right?
No way.
It's free. It's free. Everybody's like, well, how much do I have to pay? No, this is free.
Wow.
Right? We get paid when you close. Okay. So it's free. Number two is the biggest thing I hear is, I'm not ready. Well, how do you know you're not ready? And how do you know how to get ready? Right? So the best thing to do, even if you think you're not ready, do that consultation.
Okay, great. So what I want to ask you now, so you're a member of the chamber.
Yes.
So what can the chamber do for you to help make sure that your business continues to grow and is successful? What are you looking for from the chamber?
Just being involved in community events. The community events, I think, is the biggest thing. Not only because of my business, but community involvement. Homestead in particular, right? We need to showcase our businesses. We need to shop local, okay? For many, many years, we didn't have enough of the services. A lot of people would drive a little bit further up north, right? When we're knowing what do we have locally, and that goes by the community events and giving back to our residents, that's where it's going to see. I want to be able to give back also to a lot of organizations that we have that are amazing in Homestead. So
like
we're
what?
all helping each other out. One of the organizations that I really have seen right now, that I have gone to their events and spoken to, the founder and all that kind of stuff, is Mujer. I really, really enjoyed that organization.
Is what? Mujer.
Yeah. It's about women from domestic violence and
oh,
and all
really?
that kind of stuff. Yes, it's right there in Homestead.
Right.
So check that organization out. But that is one that I went to. She did a presentation. I saw it. I heard her story, and I was really taken back by how much they do.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, now we only have a few minutes left. So is there anything?
Only a few minutes left? Come on, I could be at this all day long.
I know you could be. But I want to give you a chance. If there's anything that you think that you need to explain or offer about, or let people know about, or anything that we kind of have missed in any of our conversation.
Well, just follow me. On Tania Gamez Mortgage on Instagram. I do go and promote a lot of loan products. There's so many different ways to go about things, but the best thing is to do a consultation. Do a consultation. Go ahead, call me. There's never, like what I say, a dumb question, right? There's never, and I used to be a single mom, right? And I would go look for rentals. And now looking back, I'm like, oh my goodness, I wish I called somebody for a consultation, or somebody told me to do a consultation, because I could have bought. Now knowing my expertise, I'm like, I was so in the position to not be renting, I could have bought.
So you said,
and there's programs too. That, by the way, I want everybody to know that there's also programs. The MDAT, right? The Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust helps with down payment.
Okay, say that again.
MDEAT, Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust, helps with down payment assistance, right? So I'm very fluent on down payment assistance. Hometown Heroes, which is now, they upped their amount for down payment, and it used to be that you had to have a certain occupation. Now it's open to all Florida residents. So if you're not sure if you have enough money, or you're looking for down payment assistance, or you're an investor or self-employed too, and you're like, oh, my taxes are, I'm not showing enough on my taxes. Consultation. Okay,
so you said call you.
Call me.
Where can they call you?
786-351-8206. That is my direct line.
And what is it again?
351-8206. So
Okay.
one of the things I tell people is that's my direct line. Please call me. And through a whole process, through a whole consultation, through a whole mortgage process, through a contract, I am completely involved with the client and the realtors. So they have my cell phone number to call and text all the time.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you very much for joining us today on Grow Your Business in South Florida. Again, my name is Kenneth Wright. I am on the board of directors of the South Dade Chamber of Commerce, and I am the health insurance savant. Tania has been a great guest, and remember, it's Gold Financial Services, and don't wait until you find a place. Go in for a consultation. That way you'll know what kind of place you can qualify to get.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.